How you doing, Mary?
I'm doing fine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My lunch. They're not gonna buy my story, though. Jeff was just alluding to the fact that, you shut down a plant, okay, but be careful what you wish for, because now you have something else you have to deal with. All that stored fuel. Are you concerned about the safety of that on a number of levels, I assume?
Yes. Number one priority is to thin out the spent fuel pool and get the assemblies into dry cast ASAP. Back in 2006, the Massachusetts Attorney General became involved in license renewal. And they focused solely on the vulnerability of Pilgrim's spent fuel pool and the consequences. Consequences of a spent fuel pool fire, which the Attorney General has determined is a real risk, would be up to $488 billion in damages and 24,000 latent cancers and hundreds of miles downwind contaminated. That is probably the most serious safety threat to the Commonwealth.
Do you not think they're capable of getting that into dry cask?
Are we capable of doing it? Of course they're capable of doing it, but it costs money. And so Entergy has said they have no intention of thinning that pool out, reducing the risk. Instead, they're going to only take out the number of assemblies to put in the next load. And so hopefully, once they close down, they will make the same decision at Pilgrim that they made at Vermont Yankee, which was to start getting it out of the pool because it's an advantage economically for them to do so. Because the sooner they empty that pool, they can cut the workforce down to bare bones and their expenses to bare bones and be on their way. Put the padlock on the reactor and wait until their investments are sufficient to decommission. But the problem is their investments are never going to be adequate because investments have gone up at best 2%, a little less actually, a year, and the costs increase more. And so how are they ever going to have enough money? The NRC made a very bad decision of treating the amount of money required for them to put aside year after year on a generic level, not on a site-specific. And each reactor should be dealt differently because their history of contamination of spills, and Pilgrim had many spills. And Pilgrim in '82, as you remember, blew their filters. Tritium is being released. We know that from the monitoring wells. It's in the sample wells that Mass Department of Public Health. Now that's going to be a big cleanup.
Can I ask just sort of generally how pleased, how concerned you are by this announcement today?
I'm not surprised. When UBS, for example, a couple of weeks ago, advised to their investors sell Entergy stocks and explained why, and it was because of how poorly the reactors were doing in the Northeast in these market economies. And we all know it's economics that are going to be the driving force. And when you're losing money, the writing's on the wall. But at the same time, because they're losing money, that places us in an especially dangerous period of time. Because you have an old reactor that's ranked in the bottom that obviously requires money, just like an old house or an old person, a lot of maintenance. That's money. They don't have the money. What is the incentive to really invest to get that reactor in tip-top shape? Zero.
Great. Excellent. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.